wanted to do another video on, some of the new things they have going on in Google Earth and stuff like that. I know I've played GeoGuessr for a couple of weeks, and I'll definitely do a bit more of that because it's a lot of fun as well. But I was utterly amazed when I checked back at the first Google Earth I did about London, where it was a tour of London, and it has like over 1,000 views now. And yeah, I find that pretty staggering, really. I genuinely did it as like sort of a little interesting video. I mean, I guess sometimes something different sticks out, doesn't it? And that can work out well. So what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to do a couple of things, actually. First up, we're going to do In the Footsteps of 007. Travel to global landmarks, locales and scenic wonders featured in James Bond films, which that's kind of cool as well. And also, we can chat about James Bond films because they're kind of like an important part of British culture in a way. They're probably like the most successful film franchise to come from the UK. In terms of like just the number of them and things like that, and they've obviously, they're still going to this day, and they've been going for decades as well. It's kind of a crazy thing when you think about it. And we'll also do another one as well, something else which I want to do is a little bit more geeky as well, I guess, if this isn't already geeky enough for you. I guess. So let's start off here. So, In the Footsteps of 007. Let's start exploring. So the first one we have is Dun River Falls and Park in Jamaica. Honey Rider's most famous scene in Dr. No was filmed on the Laughing Waters beach near Dun River Falls. So if you remember, that is where it's, I think it's Ursula. Is it Ursula? I've forgotten her surname now. It's been a long time since I've watched Dr. No, actually. Let me look it up. Honey Rider. Was Ursula Andress, yeah, that's it. From the 1962 film Dr. No, and it's the famous one where she came out of the water in the bikini, and everybody kind of like, I don't know. Let's see if we can, I don't know, get into street view there. And get a nice view. Oh, look. Okay, it's a little bit more busier than it probably was in Dr. No, but still absolutely stunning though. I think you would agree. Like, oh man, I wish I could go to like a and there's the waterfall as well. I wish I could go to like a kind of tropical island like this. That would be amazing. And yeah, one of the things I want to say, like as I said about like I was about to say about Dr. No then, but it's actually James Bond. It's this fascinating kind of like, it's probably faded away a little bit now with modern James Bonds because they're obviously a bit more tailored to global audiences and stuff like that. And but if you haven't gone back and watched the older James Bond films, I do recommend them, especially the Sean Connery, Roger Moore era. Roger Moore was my personal favourite James Bond, and just the ridiculousness of some of the films are so good. And obviously everyone remembers things for the gadgets and stuff like that, and the kinds of things like that, but they always are entertaining, and like in the UK they're shown all the time, like at any, whether it's a bank holiday or whether it's a religious holiday or whether it's just anything, it's always an excuse for TV to put on like a James Bond film. So you generally, as a kid, like growing up in the UK, generally have watched pretty much all the James Bond films around on there. Maybe it's not so prevalent nowadays, just because the way people consume media has changed, but you know, certainly when I was growing up it was very much the case, and yeah, I always loved them. You have to look at them with some, what I would call some kind of like period glasses on, so look at them and remembering when they were set and things like that, because obviously when you go back to like the 80s and 70s, which some of these films are made in, things were a lot different back then, and certainly filmmaking was a lot different. And while James Bond has had some very famous female roles in the films, they aren't always treated with the greatest of respect, shall we say, in any of the films. And it's kind of a bit like if you watch Mad Men nowadays. It's like I watch Mad Men and I can enjoy it as a TV show, but I do kind of wince and cringe and be like, wow, was that really how it used to be? Like, people genuinely used to think it was acceptable to like slap their secretary on the bum and tell her she'd done a good job. Like, wow. Anyway, let's go to the next one. In Amenti Castle in Japan, you only live twice. The iconic Japanese landmark served as a ninja training centre. Now, unfortunately, it appears to be undergoing some sort of like renovation, as you can see here. So it's got this giant scaffolding all around it, which is kind of unfortunate, but you kind of get the gist, I think, with it. I guess they're restoring, repairing it, however it is, but yeah, you've got the main picture in the top right. Is that? Yeah, there you go. You can see it a little bit bigger. Beautiful, like scenery and just architecture of it. Interestingly, I know that one thing I learned the other day was that the pagoda kind of styling of this like Japanese way of doing things is actually kind of designed in a way to help when there is earthquakes, because obviously Japan has earthquakes, and like they're designed to kind of withstand earthquakes, I guess you could say. I don't know if we can get a street view here. Let's try it. Maybe it won't have the scaffolding around it, we can actually see it. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh wow, yeah. Okay, that's super cool, isn't it? It's not a bad house to live in, but yeah, you only live twice is, I'm going to say Sean Connery, isn't it? Let me have a look at the year. That You Only Live Twice. I'm trying to think of what You Only Live Twice was about. Yeah, it was Sean Connery, and it was 1967. That one, as we just realised I left you on a guy whose leg has become detached from his body slightly there, so I hope that guy is okay. Oh my god, has anything happened to him too? Whoa. Oh yeah, so I think a lot of the James Bonds in like the Sean Connery era focused a lot on like the Cold War kind of stuff between America and Russia, and I think I like Sean Connery as a James Bond. I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's the kind of quintessential Bond, but for me the Roger Moore ones are just more fun, and that's what I like. The Sean Connery ones are possibly better films, but I like Roger Moore, and there's one of them featured in this is one of my favourite James Bond film anyway. We'll see. I think it might be the last one on here, From Russia with Love. Unfortunately, it looks like the 3D view does not associate here, so let's go down into a street view and have a look if we get the Hagia Sophia Museum. Very famous landmark in Istanbul, actually. Oh, we can actually go inside it as well. Oh wow, look at that. I did not know that was the thing. Okay, a little bit of beyond that. That is a chandelier, ladies and gentlemen. That is a chandelier. I actually wanted to go outside. Man, you know what? I gotta say, Google Earth is really cool. Like, if you do get the chance to just look it up yourself, do so, because there are so many cool things on it nowadays. Okay, let's see if we maybe go there. We should be able to see it from the outside. So, got some tourists there. There we go, that's a pretty good view. Yeah, so, From Russia with Love, again, Sean Connery. It was 1963. says, having worked in a cinema and worked during this, I gotta tell you that Skyfall, when it came out, and I could never quite work it out why, but Skyfall was one of the busiest ever films in UK cinema. It was absolutely crazy. I don't really know why. I thought the film was okay. Gotta say, I think it was slightly overhyped. I think the song that Adele did kind of hyped it up more. It was decent, but I wouldn't have said like that it was that good. That makes sense. I thought Casino Royale was a better film personally. Sugarloaf Mountain, Moonraker. That is a definite Roger Moore Moonraker. By the way, if you've never seen a James Bond film, any of these early ones, like, do yourself a favour, catch up with them. Because they're worth seeing, put it that way. 1979 was Moonraker. And we've got Sugarloaf Mountain here. Let's have a look from the top of the mountain, shall we? Oh, he battles against Jaws. Yeah, Jaws was kind of like vaguely. Oh, this is a pretty bad view. Oh no, that's a pretty good view. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Wow, look at that. Rio de Janeiro is it's a wonderful city, and I hope that Brazil kind of gets itself sorted, because there's like Brazil's such a fantastic country, and it had the potential, certainly, like economically, to become almost like a superpower. But there's so much like corruption and things like that going on that, and so many, and like that is the Christ the Redeemer. We'll maybe go there then have a look at that. But yeah, there's so much like corruption and things like that you see films like wow, that is a view. You see films depicting Brazil. I've never been there, so I don't know. I don't live there, obviously, but just kind of think like such a wonderful country that it's like I hope like it sorts itself out, but we'll see. That is a view, not bad. But Moonraker's a very cool one. They go to space. They don't go to the moon, no, I don't think. They go to like a space station, I think. And it features, the CIA agent, who is the kind of like, I guess the Bond girl, as they're called, Holly Goodhead. It's like, really on the nose with that one, guys. The Taj Lake Palace from Octopussy. It's kind of cool that they use these like famous monuments within. I was thinking maybe we could get one from here and then have a look. It's kind of cool they get these famous monuments, and in your own time, Google. There we go. Well, you're a bit wonky here, aren't you? This must be a pain in the arse living here. If you're like, oh, we've run out of sugar. Oh, I'll just get the boat. Must be a real pain. Although I suppose if you live in a palace, you've probably got servants and you don't run out of sugar too much. It's a hotel now. That's interesting. Octopussy again, pretty darn good one. Roger Moore again, probably biased there. And we have the United States Bullion Depository, Fort Knox. That's pretty cool, actually. I actually don't remember. Like, Fort Knox used to be like this really big thing back in the day. It was always like, whenever people mention like heists and things like that, it was always like, the typical thing in like films, things would be to kind of like to rob Fort Knox, or like the saying would be like, oh, that place is, security's tighter than Fort Knox. And I'm kind of looking at this and going, this doesn't look like the security's very good. But woe tide, I guess. Anyway, I'm sure it is very good. So this is apparently where they house the gold reserve in. I'm going to assume, that the Google doesn't go in there, but we might be able to see it. So we pop down there, I guess. But Goldfinger was, we can't really see it that well. Goldfinger was Sean Connery, and there's a kind of famous scene in it, I believe, where the one of the women is painted entirely in gold, and she suffocates as a result of it to death. That's a thing. Also features the famous British actress Honor Blackman, who plays the role of Pussy Galore, which, I mean, if it could be any more on the nose, then I don't know how that would factor in. And you also have Oddjob, who was the little guy who threw his hat, which had like a metal brim and could decapitate people with it. You know, it's typical James Bond craziness basically going on. But that's Fort Knox in Kentucky. Next up, Giza Necropolis. Well, I mean, you know, the pyramids are the pyramids, and it's interesting they don't have this 3D either. I'm guessing we can probably go down and have a look. Spy Who Loved Me. I can't remember if the Spy Who Loved Me was Connery or Roger Moore. It was Roger Moore. Okay. Oh, and this is the one which features the Lotus Esprit that goes underwater and turns into a submarine. That was super cool. I had that as a toy when I was younger, or like a kid. It was very good because this came out in 1977. Of course, the pyramids are, you know, you've probably seen the pyramids a lot. All sorts of things. And he tangles with Jaws again. You know, Jaws, the recurring villain, who had metal teeth. That was his thing, and he would like bite down on like things. Not really that scary when you think about it, but at the time it was like, whoa. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it features at night time, and there's this like laser show and things like that. Oh yeah, that's cool. I remember that. Trying to look at some of the people in it, if there's anybody that famous. The Bond girl in that one was Barbara Bach, who played Adya Abasova, which, as far as I'm aware, is not some sort of innuendo, so maybe they went better there. And the song in it was Nobody Does It Better, which is kind of a classic. The James Bond soundtrack, if you ever have it, is really good. There's so many like classic songs. I feel like they got it a bit wrong in recent years, but probably Adele with Skyfall has been pretty good. I haven't been that much of a fan of a lot of the others. The best song, I think, which should be a Bond song but never was, well, there's two of them actually. The first one was by a British band called Muse, and a song called Supremacy, which is so like a tribute to James Bond songs. It's incredible and it's really good. I recommend you look it up. And the second one is by another English band called Radiohead, who did a song for Spectre, but it was never used, and it's called Spectre, I believe, and it's really, really good, and I think you can download it for free off their website or something. It's really good. Yeah, I recommend that definitely. We have St Mark's Square, which is in Venice, featured in Casino Royale. Casino Royale, I think, is probably my favourite of the Daniel Craig ones so far. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I bet this is going to be really busy with people. Not quite as busy as I thought, actually. But yeah, Casino Royale I really liked Eva Green as the Bond girl in it. She was pretty good, and I loved the kind of twist at the end, which I won't spoil in case you haven't watched it, but I like that. Daniel Craig as a whole has done a pretty good job, I think, but in it, but I wouldn't necessarily be too disappointed. I don't think he's been an outstanding Bond in the same way of like Moore or Connery, but he's been good. If you want to know, let me go through a list actually. I'll tell you of the James Bond actors, and I'll tell you what I think of them. some like surprises here. Here we go, James Bond actors. Good old Google, eh? Okay, so I think not including like some of the ones like David Niven, who played it like in the original Casino Royale, which it's not really technically like a Bond film, but it is, if that makes sense. But we've had George Lazenby, who was like an Australian model on Her Majesty's Secret Service. He only did like one film. He's probably known as the worst James Bond, to be honest, but it's not really his fault. I think then you had Sean Connery, who's a lot of people's favourite in that. Goldfinger, obviously pretty good. Thunderball, things like that, really good. And I like him a lot. Then you had Roger Moore, who, as I said, is my favourite. Pretty much because it does seem like Roger Moore's off-camera persona is exactly the same as his on-camera persona. Like, there wasn't a lot of acting going on. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Then you had, after him, you had Timothy Dalton, who was a lot more serious James Bond. Like, they went really serious with it. Things like The Living Daylights and License to Kill. And I actually enjoy those films, but they are like, there's not many jokes going on in there. You know, it's pretty serious. And Timothy Dalton was like a pretty serious actor. But recently, actually, kind of, I don't know, funnily enough, but he's been kind of doing more kind of like comedic roles or things like that, I guess. If you ever watched the film Hot Fuzz, which is a great film, I watched it the other day because it came out on Netflix. He's in that, and he's really good. After him, you had Pierce Brosnan, who was really good as well. He did obviously like GoldenEye, which everybody knows from the game. But yeah, he was very good. I thought probably his earlier stuff, a bit like Daniel Craig, was better than his later stuff, in my opinion. But I think he was very good. By the time, that's the weird thing as well. Like Roger Moore, when he stopped being James Bond, he was like nearly 60, I think, and he did get a bit too old to play like James Bond. Like, my perception of James Bond is probably someone in their like late 30s, early 40s. It gets a little bit like awkward when they start getting older than that. And then after Pierce Brosnan, you have Daniel Craig, who, as I say, I think Casino Royale is my favourite of his, but he's done a few since then. I think he's gonna do another one as well. I think. And the Golden Gate Bridge is our last one. Obviously, the Golden Gate Bridge is very famous. San Francisco, and is in A View to a Kill, which is my favourite James Bond film. Number one, it has the best soundtrack on it, by a British band called Duran Duran. A View to a Kill is a great song. It has Roger Moore in it. It's very funny. It features Christopher Walken as Max Zorin, who is very over the top. At the end, he has like a giant airship on the San Francisco Bridge, and it's a big fight. It doesn't like. It's not that well known. Like, I don't think it, like, if you were a James Bond buff, you wouldn't say that A View to a Kill was the best James Bond by a long way. But there's something about it I really like. It came out in 1985. Had Grace Jones in it as well. It was great. I loved it. It was the 14th James Bond film, but there's been a lot of James Bond films. So yeah, let's get a few, I think. Shall we try? We can just get one from a boat. Let's get one from here and have a look. This is all kind of like dock. I mean, that is a bridge and a half. Anybody who knows me knows that I love bridges. Don't ask me why I love bridges. I just do. There's something about them that it's like this testament to human engineering of like, look, we can work around this, or feel like there's some of them which are just incredible, and that actually takes us to this second part of this little video, which is, if I look, where is the one I wanted to look at? Now I've got to find it. Oh, if you really wanted to go to sleep, you could do international cricket grounds. It's not here, is it? Oh god, I should have looked up where it was beforehand. Maybe it's on the travel. Here we go, renowned bridges. So that brings us nicely into that. So, the first view on here, actually we can link to video games quite a lot. So you got Brooklyn Bridge, which the Division kind of features that. It's pretty cool. Obviously, one of the bridges that links Manhattan with kind of like, I want to say mainland-ish, but Manhattan Island, yeah. Beautiful bridge. In 1883 it was built. Very iconic. I could not name you all the films and like media that this bridge features in. It's incredible. Let's pop down and see if we can get a better view of it. It always starts off not looking. I mean, that is a fantastic view, isn't it? But yeah, so many films and video games, sorry, that this has featured in over the years. That's pretty amazing. I'd really love one day to visit New York. Seems like a magnificent city. I love architecture, and just looking at this, I'm just like, wow, this would be incredible. It's one of the best things about living in London is the architecture. Golden Gate Bridge, we've already seen that, so we'll kind of, pop on. This is, I guess, from a different angle, to be fair. But obviously, we saw that last time. Again, like magnificent suspension bridge, 4,200 feet. And it's just, as I said before, this like testament to human engineering to build this structure, and for it still to be there after a long time. And obviously, Golden Gate Bridge, you could link that to Watch Dogs 2 more recently. Ponte Vecchio, Archbridge from Florence, Italy. This is one of those bridges where it actually has like houses on it, which is pretty darn cool. They were thinking of building a bridge in London. It's going to be called the Garden Bridge, and it would be this like park on a bridge going across, but they're not building it anymore, which is kind of a shame. They also waste a lot of public money on it as well. There's some sort of like building work going on in the middle there or something. But that's pretty cool. Any guesses for which game I would link this to? Well, it has to be Assassin's Creed 2, I think. I remember climbing across this bridge in that game. I think I'm right in saying it was 2. It was one of the Assassin's Creed. Why have I managed to get to a place where I can't see the bridge? Where are we? Okay, let's go on this boat here. I hope it's a boat. We're just random. What? Why am I inside someone's random house? Okay, that's a little bit weird. Oh my god, look, feet as well. Why have you got no shoes on? What kind of Philistine are you? Not even slippers. Why? I think Google, like, something was going on this particular day. Let's just go on the road. There we go. Yeah. Very kind of picturesque. I love this idea of like building the houses and things like that along the bridge as well. It's very cool. Next we have Tower Bridge in good old London. Apples and pears. Tower Bridge. Often people think of this as London Bridge. I think I mentioned this in the like the one I did about London, but it's not. It's called Tower Bridge, and the bridge this lifts up in the middle here to allow boats to go through. That's HMS Belfast there. That's always docked there. Don't worry about it. apologise, I just had to sneeze suddenly. That's the Shard. Sorry, I'm doing another tour of London again, aren't I? We've got the Gherkin over there. I don't think I mentioned these before. I think they're designed by somebody called Norman Foster, who we'll see later on, who's a very famous British architect. Probably our most famous British architect, actually. And you can see there's like a little dock there for all the rich people to park their boats. But yeah, you have Tower Bridge. Again, you can link that to video games like Grand Theft Auto 2. I'm sure many more features. Tower Bridge, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Was it in that? I can't even remember now. I think it probably was. Beautiful looking bridge though, definitely. Very kind of unique. In terms of like bridge design as well. And I think that's something I love about like bridges, is that like it'd be very easy to just kind of do something quite boring and flat, but a lot of the time they just do something incredible with it, because I guess in a way you can have a bit more flexibility with the design than you can a building, because it only serves one function. Buildings have to serve lots of different functions. Also, buildings are genuinely kind of like more expensive, I guess, and more vertical, so you have to worry about that a little bit more. But the other thing is that the actual design of a lot of them, with the kind of suspension bridges and things like that, just naturally look amazing. You know, it's easy to just build on that. And that's the Tower of London behind us there. Just load up. Oh, it doesn't want to. That's where all the ravens are, things like that. Again, if you want to know more about London, there is one I did on London. The Pont du Gard. Mighty aqueduct bridge rising over 3 well-preserved arch tiers built by 1st century Romans. So, Romans were incredible engineers. There's that old kind of like Monty Python joke in The Life of Brian. You should watch that film if you haven't. Where they talk about like, he's like, what have the Romans ever given us? And they're like, roads, sewers, you know, all this stuff. They're like, yeah, but apart from that, what have they ever given us? But they were magnificent engineers, and like, you know, many of these aqueducts. Think about that. That's 1st century, so this is like 2,000 years old nearly. It's still there. That's pretty amazing to me, I think. Obviously in this picture you can see there's more water. I guess this is the summer and that's maybe like the winter. That's in France as well. And we have the Gateshead Millennium Bridge. This is an interesting one. I hadn't actually seen this one before, despite it being... I probably had seen it but not taken that much notice of it. Despite it being in London, of course. See if we can't get down here. I've never been. I've been to Newcastle once, and that was pre-millennium. So, well, this is a crappy view, isn't it? Oh no, actually, it's okay. It's not too bad. So yeah, this is kind of crazy because when they want to let boats through, the whole thing lifts up. You can see that's the walkway round. If we go back to this view, you can see it's down. So you walk around that way, and then it kind of like arches like that to let boats through, which is a really interesting design. I've never seen that before. And it's for pedestrians and cycles, yeah. Or cyclists, I should say. That's a really cool looking bridge. That's an even cooler looking building. What building is that? I've not seen that before. When did Gateshead get to be such a... like... wow. Okay. When did Gateshead become like the... Now, interestingly, actually, I just saw another bridge there which isn't featured in this, so we'll just have a look at that, which is the... I believe this is the Tyne Bridge. We do get to see one which looks very much like it, though. Yeah, that's the kind of like most famous bridge in Newcastle, I guess. Which is rail, I think it's a rail bridge. I don't know if you can just about see the Gateshead Bridge over there. But there you go, Gateshead and Newcastle, they're in northern England. You can just see it just there. The Ponte Octavio Frias de Oliveira, again, Brazil. as I said, Brazil has some amazing sights. It's a cable-stayed bridge over Sao Paulo's Pinheiros River with decks that cross in a distinct X shape. Looks a little bit mental, doesn't it? Let's maybe get a view. Go down here. This is a good view. I don't know if this was, oh no, there we go. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. This like suspension way they do it. And if you look as well, it's got I've broken it. Okay, we'll move to the next one. But if you look at it, it kind of like it is like in the shape of an X. This is a very cool bridge. This Stilford Bridge opened in 2010, so I think it's the newest one on this list. Inspired by the curved form and the structure of DNA. So you can see it's got this helix twist to it as it kind of goes around. It looks incredible. In Asia, there's a real kind of almost renaissance in architecture, as you can kind of see. If you've seen like the Bird's Nest stadium in Beijing, that's magnificent as well. Which is super cool. I mean, look at this. I don't even know what building that is, but that's very cool. Singapore has it going on, for sure. And the Akashi Kaiko Bridge, suspension bridge in Kobe, Japan. Over 3,900 metres. I think it's one of the largest suspension bridges in the world. You can see it looks similar to Golden Gate, but my goodness me, can we get a look at how far it actually spans? Look at that. That's a heck of a span. And I just love that idea of like, you know, taking on nature, you know, and being it in a way. And these kind of like monuments to ingenuity and genius, I guess, of people. It's incredible. Sydney Harbour Bridge. Now, you know, I mentioned the Tyne Bridge in Newcastle. Well, Sydney Harbour Bridge, you can see, looks very similar, and it actually is based upon that design of it. It looks very similar. It's bigger, I believe, much bigger scale. But we've got the Sydney Opera House just over there as well, another famous landmark. Incredible that we've come to Australia and it's not sunny. That probably doesn't happen that often, I guess. But yeah, pretty cool looking bridge. Obviously a lot of influences from England around that time, 1932. The picture here is probably a little bit nicer looking of it. You can see it there. That's a very iconic view of the Sydney Harbour, Sydney Opera House, sorry, with you know, the bridge in the background as well. Sydney Harbour. It's probably the most famous view you get in Australia, I guess. And here we have the Charles Bridge, landmark stone bridge linking Prague's old and new towns with street artists and entertainers. Again, very cool. Can we get a view? Let's go on the bridge this time, if we can. If we don't end up in some random person's house. No, here we go. Oh my god, that's a busy bridge. That's the guy who's holding it. As I've said before, I think in other ones like Prague, it's like an amazing place. It really is. Utterly amazing, and I really hope to visit there one day. I think it'd be fascinating just to wander around. For too long, I think it's been subjected to British stag parties, and you know, people need to kind of reclaim a bit of like culture and interest in, you know, other places. And finally, we have the Viaduc de Millau in France, designed by Norman Foster. I mentioned him before. I believe this is one of the like longest or like largest bridges in the world. It is incredible. I've driven over this in Euro Truck Simulator 2, which is super cool. Love doing that. It's featured in the French add-on pack, and I mean, it is a magnificent looking bridge. And it's one of those bridges for me which just feels a little bit unnecessary, but god damn it, we're just gonna do it, you know. And because we're French, we're gonna make it look damn good as well. That's a view, isn't it? Personally, you would not catch me dead on here, as I've mentioned many times before. I'm terrified of heights, and oh no way. I'd probably just have to shut my eyes and just drive in a straight line. Yeah, that'd be pretty terrifying. But magnificent looking bridge, absolutely stunning. Anyway, that's it for our bridge tour. Thank you guys so much for watching, joining me on these 2 tours. I enjoy going through and looking at these things and chatting about them. It's great. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys next time. See you soon.